What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to my second video. I can't believe I even posted one. I was so scared. I messaged my buddy Peter and I'm like, yo Pete, I can't do this. And he's like, Alan, just go for it, man. You got this. Get it out there, get people to see it. And you know what? It felt really good just being able to do that. I don't want to spend too much time talking, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I read all the comments and I wanted to pick out kind of topics of what to discuss next. One of the most common topic questions that I noticed was, what gear do I use? So without further ado, cue intro. So I recently went on a trip to New York City and Alberta, and I was thinking to myself, what gear do I need to bring with me? But before I even think about gear, first thing that comes to my mind is, what's gonna fit in this bag? And so what that usually involves is whether or not it's gonna be the amount of lenses, the type of accessories, the camera body. These are all important questions that I think about before I do anything. In this case, I look for a variety of lenses to bring with me when I travel. The first lens I always bring with me, it's my go-to lens, is my 24-70. It's a wide-angle lens at 24 millimeters, and it's a zoom lens at 70, which makes it very convenient for shooting portraits, landscapes. The 2.8 aperture on the lens also helps a lot because I can shoot in low light conditions, and it also creates a unique depth of field in my photography and in my video. The second lens I consider whenever I travel is my 16-35. Because I recently started vlogging, this is the go-to lens. Although the one I have is a 4.0 aperture, it does make the depth of field a little tricky to deal with, but nonetheless, it's a great lens and I recommend it for anyone who wants to start off with a nice wide-angle lens. It's great for shooting landscapes, it's great for shooting cityscapes. So when I was in New York, I used it as much as I could, and then when I was in Alberta, shooting the mountain ranges, shooting out of the helicopter, it becomes a very useful lens. The third lens I usually travel with, and is my absolute favorite lens, is my 85mm with aperture at 1.2. The reason I love this lens is because it's very crisp. The quality of it is absolutely beautiful, and I enjoy taking detail shots and portraits of people, and it allows me to do that while also using it for video when I need to create very cinematic scenes. So these three lenses are primarily the ones I travel with whenever I get the opportunity to. One thing to consider is that everyone has a unique style and approach to photography or video, so you have to be able to choose the right lenses that suit your style and your approach. These are the ones that work for me because I shoot cities and landscapes, so I need to be able to have the diversity in lenses in order to achieve the type of work I want. So the second most important item that I usually bring with me when I travel is the camera body. I'm sure if you followed any of my photography, you've noticed that I use the 1DX Mark II for a lot of the work I do. Reason being is because I love the fact that I can use it not only for photography, but also as a great video camera. The camera shoots 4K at 60 frames per second. It has a 20.2 megapixel processor in it, so I get the quality in the photography that I need and also the type of video content that I want to produce. The camera is also great because it shoots 120 frames per second at 1080p, so I get to do tricks like this. Other reasons I really like the 1DX Mark II is because it's a heavy camera. Surprisingly, I actually enjoy having a heavier camera with me. For some reason, I don't know, I feel like the smaller body, the mirrorless cameras don't really fit the style of work I do. Because it is weather sealed also, it makes it a lot more enjoyable for me to work with. But that's just preference. And like I said, everything that you travel with in terms of gear should be based on your style and your approach. And these are gonna be really good. And they're really good. Oh wow. Is it tangerine season right now? I can just sit here and eat these all day. Sorry guys, probably making you hungry. Okay. So once I've selected my camera body and my lenses, the next thing I think about bringing is my drone. I currently own two drones. I own the DJI Phantom 3 Pro and the Mavic Pro. And obviously when you're selecting which one to bring, you have to base that a lot on size. So it's either I'm bringing a controller this big or a controller this big. If I'm gonna bring a battery this size or a battery this size. So because I was just in New York City and Alberta, I decided to pack a lot lighter for this trip, and I actually didn't bring my drone with me. Obviously for many reasons. First, you're not allowed to fly a drone in New York City. Second of all, national parks in Canada prohibit the use of drones unless you get complete agreement from the national parks themselves, which is probably most likely never gonna happen. So don't even think about it. But the cool thing about drones is that you get very interesting perspectives that you otherwise wouldn't be able to, because I mean, it's flying over your head. I love taking photos with my drone as well as filming. It creates a very interesting dynamic in the type of photography and type of video work that you produce. It adds a level of detail. Whenever I travel, I try to think about whether or not the country will allow me to even bring my drone. I've had situations like when I was in Nicaragua, I brought my drone in and they actually took it away from me at the airport. So I was not able to use the drone, and they gave it back to me when I was leaving the country. Some countries allow you to bring your drones in, such as Canada. Drones are amazing tools. They're great for photography and they're great for video. You can produce a lot of amazing content with them. They give you a perspective which is sometimes unachievable with just obviously your camera. And not everyone's able to jump into a helicopter at all times and shoot amazing footage. So get out there, get yourself a cool drone, but be very safe with it. So we took it from the sky, now we're bringing it down to the ground. And some things that I think are very valuable for any photographer or any videographer in general are these things. These are Guerrilla Pods. They allow you to create long exposures, time lapses. They're useful for even vlogging if you're deciding to do that. But also, not only need these, but you also need a good tripod. Just grab this one. But yeah, so you need one of these bad boys. This is the Photo Pro. This is not the newest carbon fiber one, but I definitely recommend the carbon fiber ones. This one's a little bit heavy, but these are great. Yeah, I use this every single time I travel, even when I need to set up a shoot and I'm shooting myself or I'm shooting other people. It's a solid tripod. It's been through thick and thin, and I can't wait to create more exciting things with it. Since I'm so excited to create more amazing things with my tripod, I'm gonna put this thing back just so my video is stable a little bit. Right there, awesome. But yeah, so we talked about the camera body, we talked about the lenses, we talked about the tripods, and we talked about the aerial drones. All that's really left is accessories. So you need your hard drives, you need your memory cards, you need your batteries, your wires, your laptop, anything really that's gonna help you go out and shoot the content that you need. This is my kit. Your kit's gonna be different. Whatever you decide to shoot in your style of photography is the type that you have to create your kit around. So there you have it, guys. That's a very brief introduction on the type of gear I bring with me when I travel or when I'm doing my day-to-day shoots. I hope you guys learned something and take away from this experience. And remember to always like, subscribe, and comment if you did. And I'll be sure to post more amazing content for you guys in the very near future. Peace!